We are going to be talking about 3 reasons why you need other people to be excited as a fearful avoidant. I am Paulina and I am so happy you are here because maybe you've noticed that when people aren't very excited about the things you do, the things you say, you get triggered. You get insecure. And depending on your relationship, you can push them away, you can lash out, you can find yourself either getting angry or shutting down. And when I noticed this with myself, I started wondering why. Why does this happen? Why do I need my partner to be excited? And there are multiple reasons that I want to get into today. And when I started healing this, because it doesn't even really seem like such a big deal, right? That I just thought it was the truth for so long. I just wanted um, my husband to be more excited than boyfriend when I was talking about my day or when I showed him something that I was excited about. I needed him to be excited. And for a long time, I thought that that was just, truth and I was right. He wasn't excited enough. And when I was well on my healing journey, I didn't take anything for granted anymore. I didn't take anything as truth anymore. And so I noticed myself getting annoyed by him not being excited, and I started wondering why is that? What does that come from? Where does that come from? Because I'm excited about it. Of course I would like him to also be excited about it, but it shouldn't take away from my excitement, and I shouldn't be triggered this much when he isn't. It doesn't say anything about me. And he can be excited in his own way, people are different, and my husband is a pretty calm person, so he's not very extreme in whatever he does. And I wanted him to be extremely excited, so it was also the intensity of what I wanted from him or expected from him that kind of surprised me when I started thinking about it. And so I started tapping with EFT, the emotional freedom technique. And what is beautiful about this technique is that while you're tapping, things can kind of unfold. You start with what it feels like right now, and then the wisdom of your body just kind of brings up whatever memories it has that led to you feeling this way right now. And when I started tapping on this, I realized that I wanted my dad to be excited when I was younger. And when I dug deeper into why that was, I realized that when he wasn't very excited, because he is a fearful avoidant, so he definitely has some intensity to him, and he can be very, very excited. So the moments he wasn't excited, I felt fear and contraction. And so when I tapped around that, I realized that when he wasn't very excited, a lot of times he would come back to me later on with some sort of criticism. And this is something that I had noticed in other things too, that there is what I call brewing. When he would, for instance, do the dishes in the evening, we would have had dinner, and then my dad would always do the dishes after dinner, and then after that, it could be that he had been brewing on something, which means he was having critical thoughts, judgmental thoughts, and then he would get mad about something out of kind of seemingly nowhere. And so what I realized was that him being excited was kind of a safeguard for me to not get judged or criticized or lashed out at. When he was really excited about something, like intensely excited about something I shared, then I would probably never get any feedback later on. He would get critical. But if he wasn't very excited, chances were that he would get back to me and be critical about something, judgmental about something. And so the intensity of the excitement was a forecast for what would probably happen. And that's why I wanted intense excitement, because the more intense the excitement was, the more that meant security for me. So that could be the first reason, because now I know I wasn't the only one. This happens with a lot of fearful avoidant parents, the brewing and the quiet criticism. And then the second one is that we're just used to intensity as fearful avoidance, and we seek certainty in intensity. So when somebody is just kind of, how do you say that, not very intense, we take that personally. We think that we're not interesting enough, we're not good enough, and that triggers the social performance, or performance in general. I mean, it could be about something you did, art you made, or something you did and you think it was amazing. And so when they're not very excited, that you probably make it mean that what you did was not very good, or that they are not very interested in you. So that you attach a lot of meaning to it. And that makes sense, because most fearful avoidant parents, when they're excited, they show that excitement. And it is expected from you also that when you're excited about something, that you show that excitement. So with fearful avoidance, and so therefore also with fearful avoidant parents, intensity is always kind of linked to safety and security. So you want those intense emotions and you want those intense feelings because you're used to it, but also because it's linked to safety and security. And that kind of comes back to perfectionism, which is such also a core part of the fearful avoidant attachment style, that the more excited people are, the more perfect you are, or that thing that you shared, or that thing that you thought of, or that thing that you made is. And the more perfect you are, the more safe you are. So you seek safety in perfection, you seek safety in intensity, and you seek safety in intensity because the more intense it is, the more perfect it feels. So what the challenge then becomes is to be okay with things being neutral, and people appreciating you without really digging into or amplifying your excitement. Because when I look back on it, when I was younger, when my dad was that excited, it was almost kind of like a positive emotional manipulation. And I don't say that like as a major big thing, but he wanted to kind of hype me up, which was well intended, but that also meant that when that didn't happen, the neutrality around it felt unnerving. I was hoping for and used to him amplifying the excitement, whereas it should be enough for me to hold my own excitement. Because otherwise we start performing for others. We start being very concerned with what others think and what others find good or not. And that's also the case when people are not very excited. You take that as failure. You take that as, oh, then it's not very good. Whereas freedom means that you know something is good, whether somebody is excited or not, even when somebody is downright critical or dismisses it or doesn't like it. So it was very interesting because my husband would never dismiss anything I do or make. And this allowed me to really release the reaction and to stand so much stronger in what I want and what I like, and therefore follow my own path and hone my own craft, not dependent on what others think, but according to what I want it to be. And that is such a beautiful way of living life. I mean, this could pertain to making art or your hobbies, or doing whatever you want to do. But when it comes to this channel, for instance, I just want to I love doing this, and I don't want to do it because of what other people think or say or I should do or shouldn't do. And just, honing your craft for what you want and just making it better, just only from your point of view. That is freedom, and that is a beautiful thing. So releasing the need to have other people be excited really helps in being able to enjoy life, really, and not be dependent on what other people think or say. All right, so this was just a small interesting insight that I had that I wanted to share, because sometimes these small things can give so much freedom when we heal them. Let me know in the comments below whether this was valuable, whether you recognize this. I want to know.